Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am Mercedes and this is The Frugal Life with Mercedes. Today I am going to talk about my engagement story. I have been engaged for 4 months as of today, and I've been talking about doing an engagement story video since I got engaged. So I figured, why not do it today? So I will start off with a little bit of a backstory. I met my significant other we met online on a dating app, and we started chatting at the very end of December of 2022. Then less than a week later, we actually had our first date, and basically as soon as I met him, I was just so smitten. I obviously was smitten for him before that, or I wouldn't have gone out on a date with him. But basically, from our first date till now, we have not been separated except by his job. I found out, at the beginning that he traveled for work. And I can't really say exactly what he did. It's not anything like sketch or anything, but just for his privacy. He worked for a company that redid large stores. And so he would be sent all over the country. And he could be gone for up to 17 days at a time and then only be home for a weekend. And we did that for the first 7 months of our relationship, and that was really hard because you're trying to get to know somebody, but they're gone quite a bit. So a lot of our relationship was over the phone, and we established right away that every night at 8 o'clock we would video chat. It didn't matter where he was, where I was. Because he worked night shift too, so that also was that also adds on to it, is that he would be in another state, gone for 17 days at max. Sometimes it was a little less, and he worked overnights and I worked days. So he didn't start work until well after 8. So we established really early on that at 8 o'clock it was video chat. And we would video chat and talk to each other and catch up on our day, and that really established our relationship. And I think that that's what I feel like if we didn't have that, I hate to say that we wouldn't still be together, but it's possible because we both made that commitment to set aside that time for each other, and it really showed that we were both committed and we were both willing to put in effort into the relationship. And I can speak for both of us, where in previous relationships we didn't have that. We didn't feel like the other person was putting in as much effort and didn't seem as invested. And then, you don't want that. So it showed both of us that there was a mutual interest and a mutual amount of effort being put in, and it was fun. It was fun to know at 8 o'clock I got to talk to him and see him. And you guys might not know this because you've never seen him on here, but I have posted pictures of him. He has the most beautiful, piercing blue eyes, just absolutely gorgeous blue eyes. And so anyway, so when I first met him, that was the first thing that struck me. He's got a gorgeous smile, beautiful teeth, and these piercing blue eyes. And you guys have probably noticed, but I get really rosy. I just have that kind of complexion where I'm just rosy all the time. And he's the same way. So, when we're out and about, it's like we just have these really red cheeks and we just look, you know what I mean? Just constantly embarrassed, even though we're not. It's just our complexion. So anyway, so we met and we became official basically instantly. And we weren't together very long, and I met his family and he met my family. And let's see, we're dating, and after a few months of dating, we both really make it clear that we wanted to try to spend our lives together. I made sure before I ever even met him that I made it perfectly clear that I was looking for a life partner. I don't like to say like I was looking for a husband, because I'm a firm believer that every relationship is different, and I'm a firm believer in marriage, but I'm also a firm believer in life partners or whatever have you. And so I made it very clear that I was looking for somebody to spend my life with, and he made it perfectly clear he was looking for someone to spend his life with. So after we were dating for a while, it became apparent that we both were hoping to do that with each other. So marriage has been a topic of conversation since before I ever even met him. Like when we first started chatting, back and forth. So then last November of 2023, Brandon, I don't really remember exactly how it came out, but it came out very organically, and he made it clear that he wanted me to pick my engagement ring and my wedding ring. I've been married before, and Brandon has not been married before. He's never been engaged before, and I had. And so he really leaned on me to ask, like, he was like, well, am I supposed to just go pick it? Are you supposed to pick it? Are we supposed to pick it out together? He wanted to make sure that that it was done, I guess, in the proper way. And I, told him, I was like, I'll answer any questions that you have. I said, but I don't believe there's I said, I'm sure there's like a societal expectation proper way, but you guys know me and he knows me that I don't believe in any of those rules. I believe whatever is right for you and your significant other is the way to go. And he said, well, what would you feel comfortable with? And I said, if you would like me to pick my engagement ring, I said, I would love to. I was like, I said, that would not make it less special for me. I said, the only thing that I don't want to know is when you get it. I said, I really don't like surprises, but at the same time, it was really important for me. I did not want to know when he bought the ring or anything like that, or when he was going to propose. And I also made it perfectly clear, just because we were having this conversation, I was like, there is zero pressure to propose. I said, I only want you to do it if you absolutely want to, and all that. And anyway, so then there was another kind of, it's not an obstacle, but there was like another little thing. It might surprise you guys, but as alternative as I am and free-spirited, I have a little bit of an old-fashioned sense in me. And I told him that I could not marry him unless he asked my father's permission. Now that is basically out of respect for my dad. I've talked about this a little bit, but my father is not my birth father. He raised me, and so he is my father. And that's something that is really important to him to be asked. And it's not in a mean or forceful way at all. It's just those are my dad's values, and I respect that. So I told Brandon, I said, it would be really important to me and really important to get a good footing in the family, which he already did. My family loves him, but I was trying to like do him a solid. And I said, just to be clear, my dad is going to say yes. He knows that I'm going to do what I want to do. I said, it's more of a formality. And I said, it would mean a lot to me. And I know it would mean a lot to my dad. And I said, but I don't want to know when you do it. So anyway, fast forward. In early May of this year, 2024, Brandon and I were chit-chatting, and it came out that we both had Memorial Day off. Now, he hasn't been he hasn't been at his new job at that point for a year yet. He's been at it a year now, but when we were having this conversation, he hadn't. So he didn't know that he was going to have Memorial Day off, and I always get Memorial Day off. So I was like, you know what? We haven't been on, we go on day trips a lot, but I was like, we should go stay overnight someplace. And it basically was like, let's go to Pittsburgh and go to the zoo. And we were like, that would be so much fun. So we arranged it, and so Memorial Day weekend is also one of my nephew's birthdays. So on Saturday of Memorial weekend, we got up, we got dressed. The night before, we had packed our bags, and we drove to my nephew's birthday party and celebrated with the family. My nephew was turning 1, and we did leave the party a little bit early, but everybody knew we were going to Pittsburgh. So then we drove to Pittsburgh, and we got into the hotel, and we like, you know, got settled a little bit, and we were both hungry. So we actually walked from the hotel to a Mexican restaurant. And then after that, on our way to the Mexican restaurant, we saw this, like, I guess it was like a milkshake bar or something like that. So we decided, let's get dessert. So we went and had dinner. We walked back to the hotel, but across the street from the hotel was this ice cream bar. So we got some ice cream. And then we walked back up to the hotel, and we're just hanging out, you know, and he was kind of acting a little bit funny, and I was like, okay. And he just, like, it's really hard to explain, but he was just like, you know, putting his hand on my shoulder. And Brandon and I are really like an affectionate couple, you know, like we're always like, you know, touching each other's hair. We touch forehead to forehead. You know what I mean? Like we're those type that are like always holding hands, and, you know, so he's just like running his hands through my hair and, like, you know, doing forehead to forehead, and just like, you know, and then he's kind of like starting to say like a speech, and it was just like, and then I noticed he's getting on one knee, and literally my face was like, oh, you're right now? Like, I know it sounds silly because we went out of town. I was completely surprised. I literally was like, seriously, right now? And there he is on one knee asking me to marry him. And my family laughs at me, but I was like, are you sure? Like, and my mom was like, you actually asked if he was sure? And I was like, I said I was so like, this is why I don't like surprises, because if I would have known, then I could have been like, oh, thank you, yes, of course, you know. But it was like, I was like, oh, really? Right now? And I was like, yes, of course I'll marry you. Oh my gosh. And the first thing I said, I was like, I sat down on the bed, and literally my heart was like beating out of my chest, and I was like freaking out. And I said, can we keep it a secret for a little bit? I said, I just need a minute. Like, I'm a big, like, need to process things kind of person. And I was like, I just need a minute. And he's like, babe, you can take as long as you want. He's like, it's okay. So, about a half hour, 45 minutes later, we have a group chat for the family. And as you guys know, what is there? There's like 16 of us in my immediate family, like my brothers and sisters and their significant others and my parents. So I took a picture that I had posted on social media way after the fact, and it was basically like he was standing behind me and I was like, and I sent it in the group chat, we're engaged, and then just boom, 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 like all these notifications of, oh my goodness, congratulations, like all my siblings and brother-in-laws and stuff like that. And so that was really nice. It was wonderful. And The next day, we went to the Pittsburgh Zoo, and it was funny because I told him, I said, would you mind terribly if I do not wear my ring walking around the zoo? I said, I just got it. I would be, you know, I said, I'm not used to it yet, you know, and he's like, of course, there's no, you know, it's not. I was worried he was going to take it as I didn't want to wear it, but it was like, we're in a city, we're going to the zoo, it's new, I'm not used to it yet, and I was really worried about losing it. But you guys have seen it before. This isn't a like terribly great shot of it, but it is moss agate and lab created diamonds with white gold. So I picked it out, and I have to say this is like my dream engagement ring. I'm not really comfortable with diamonds. I do have a diamond ring that I bought myself, but for the most part, I try to stay away from regular diamonds, just because I'm not confident in them being conflict-free. Even though some diamonds say that they're conflict-free, you really would never know. So I do own some diamonds, but I try to really limit it. And I just think that this is wonderful. So another little part of the story, when Brandon proposed, he opened up this box, and it had my engagement ring, and then this here is my wedding ring, which I also picked out, but I didn't know when he bought them. Basically, I sent him the pictures of the rings that I wanted, and he got them at some point. I actually don't even really know when he got them, but you guys can't really see it too well, but it is the lab created diamonds, and in the very middle is a moss agate, and it will structure around my engagement ring. So when he proposed, you know, he's like, blah, 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 will you marry me? And the box is beautiful. And I didn't find out until we were engaged, I want to say like over a month. I said something about loving this box, and I was like, I can't believe those came with the rings. And he's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, my rings, the box. And he's like, oh no, I bought the box. And I was like, yeah, when you bought the rings. And he goes, no, the rings came in like a velvet ring box, like rings usually come in. He bought this off Etsy separately for my rings to go in, and it is resin and wood, and it's a really beautiful box. And you guys know green is my favorite color, and I absolutely love trees, so I was like, this man gets me. So I found out that the box is a present. So he got the rings in a velvet box, and he was like, that's too ordinary for Mercedes. And something also that you might not really know about me, but Brandon does and the people in my life, I'm actually a very sentimental person, but I'm kind of, I don't want to use the word choosy. Sorry, I feel like I'm yelling now, but that was because my AC was on, so give me a sec. The AC in here is really loud. Anyway, I'm a very sentimental person. I have things that I've had since I was really little, and I think something he really loves about me is he'll be like, babe, I really love those earrings, and I'll be like, thanks, I've had them since middle school, or, you know, something along those lines. And that's something that he has told me specifically he really loves about me, is that if I really treasure something, I'm going to keep it for forever. So anyway, so he bought, that part actually makes me a little bit emotional, because that's something that people don't always notice about me or point out. And I don't know what it is about that specifically, but that always gets me going, that he noticed that about me. But anyway, he knew, you know, of course, a velvet ring box that they came in would have been fine and I would have kept it. But he went out of his way to look for one that would be a keepsake in and of itself and know that I would keep it. So right now it is housing my wedding ring, but later on I'll put it in my corner hutch next to like my other precious things that I have. Right now I have this put away in the safe. But anyway, so that's probably to me the sweetest part of the story was I found out, like I said, well over a month after we were engaged that he got this for me. And him and I both really like to support local artists and just artisans in general. And so he made sure to find somebody that makes these. This is not mass created. This, some artisan made this. And it's resin and wood. So, I don't have like an affinity for resin or anything, but just the fact that it's so unusual and it's like sparkly and it's just, and it's wood. Anyway, so I didn't expect myself to get so emotional. But anyway, that is my engagement story. And we'd already lived together for about a month by the time we got engaged. And we've been just engaged this summer and going into the fall. And I guess I can take this time to announce that we are planning for our wedding to be this coming summer, so summer 2025. I know the date, but I will announce it later, and we'll talk about all those details. But that is my engagement story, and I hope that you guys enjoyed it. And thank you for bearing with me. Did not expect to get all emotional about it, but it did. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Please consider subscribing to my channel. If you did not know, I have an Instagram, The Frugal Life of Mercedes. Until next time, guys, bye.